It's already started since you started it. So I'm going to be talking about Principia Geographica. Of course, we're all here talking about geographic information systems. As you can see, I'm using kind of a parable to talk about this. I'm going to look at it from kind of a Greek mythology type of perspective as they enjoy themselves over here to the side. Now, I'm going to use three sets of dolls. One, we have government data. We have state, local, national, different nesting data. Of course, sometimes you have to take them apart. Sometimes you can put them together and use them together. Other times, we have to look a little bit further afield, actually have to pay for data, go to corporate sources where the connection seems to be coming loose from the laptop. I'll move over here. So corporate data, aerial, remote sensing, survey data. Oh, well, it's purple. It's pink. It works. We also have our friends, volunteer geographic information now. I still prefer user-generated content. People who are going out, creating data, making it available to us using either, of course, many of the open source APIs or ESRI products. But our parable is Eris and a couple of other goddesses going to a party. Eris is a little bit jealous. She's kind of getting the shoe off because the others are lovelier. She tosses in a golden apple, saying, "Callisti, to the fairest." And that's kind of where we are now. We're all saying, well, we need either authoritative resources like corporate or government data, or we need to kind of find the very authoritative things that people are making. But I'm saying, what about every reasonable information source? For each project, we have a different need. We have a different set of data that will be applicable. And of course, reasonable, we have the definition, or what we can choose to be reasonable is with good sense or in an intelligent manner. So we have to choose ourselves what is reasonable data for our GIS projects. And what I've kind of done is begin to look at, what is this? Is there misinformation going on? Are we being led astray by saying we have to use authoritative data sources? Or can we use a lot of this data that's out there just as long as we can find ways to make sure that it meets our needs? And so I'm going to give you 5 ways that might be kind of a good way to look at how you can look at data that's out there to see whether or not it works for your project whenever you're utilizing it. So number 1 is accessibility. Of course, if the data is accessible, you can probably use it. You can at least look at it. If it's sitting in the back of a library somewhere on a 9-inch tape drive, you're not really going to be able to do anything with it. But if we put it out there in some form or another, we'll be able to find it. And if this data is findable, it's good. Peter Morville wrote a great book about ambient findability. The better you can make your data findable, either through tags, taxonomy, through metadata, the better it's going to be. Of course, once we find it, we have to be able to use it in the systems that we're using, whether we're talking about remote sensing data, GIS data, server-based back-end things, XML data. Just as long as we can find formats that are interoperable with the software and technologies that we're using, we'll be okay. Has to be describable. Of course, metadata is our favorite way of describing data, but not everybody's using metadata. Not everybody can have the knowledge to create metadata. So as long as they're describing the data, we can have some idea to make sure of the fact that it's reliable, why it was created, what scale it was created at, etc. Accuracy, precision. Those words that we want to know about, but not everybody who's creating, especially some of this volunteered information, is focusing on. And of course, if we do all these, we can begin to embrace this data. If it meets all 5 of these criteria for us, if we can find it, if it's reliable, we can use it in our project. But we have to remember that not all projects are the same. We have 2 projects. They want to do about the same type of thing, but each one might have different needs in terms of data. So again, one of us might focus on accuracy and precision. One might focus on a much broader set of data sources. So what does this all mean? Do we really think that any reliable information source is true, is usable? I think so. Of course, then again, there's always the caveats that you have to go with whenever you're using data sources that you're not creating yourself. And of course, what you end up with is our need to share data so that more people can go out there and try to utilize our data, find out whether or not it's reasonable for their projects and for the activities they are doing. And that's it.